An 18-year-old is found dead at a home along a road eerily called Hallelujah Trail, and investigators believe her death connects her back to a man she met on Snapchat. We're breaking down the latest on this strange case with a former detective, an expert on cell phone evidence. Annabelle Margaret Florin Wyant was just 18 years old when her dead body was found on August 1st, after a friend called the police. Worried that they couldn't get in touch with Annabelle, and directed them towards a man named Jorge Meza Alarcon Jr. El Paso County, Colorado deputies found Annabelle's body inside of the 26-year-old Alarcon's home. She was found dead in his bedroom with blood on her head, and that is when things took a very strange turn, because Alarcon himself apparently called 911 from a few miles down the road to say he had been assaulted. A lot of moving parts here. I want to bring in former lead cold case detective and expert on cell phone evidence, Alarcon. Here's what we know, because according to the El Paso County, Colorado deputies, Annabelle's friend said that she had gone to Alarcon's home to collect money from a Snapchat Premium subscriber. Now, Snapchat Premium is not a program that's officially recognized by the app company, but people use it seemingly to exchange cash for content, sometimes explicit content like nude photos or videos. Alarcon allegedly told deputies that Annabelle agreed to meet up with him where he would pay her money for sex. He says that they communicated through text messages and the Snapchat app, but they hadn't met in person yet. And according to the friend who called the police, he was the one who had arrived at Alarcon's house and said that she texted him that Alarcon was giving her a weird vibe. Though he checked in with her from time to time, but then hadn't heard from her in about 90 minutes. So he got really worried. There's a big safety component to this, and it's clear that Annabelle was concerned about things and wasn't comfortable with the environment that she was going into. Her having her friend check on her, texting constantly back, she trusted her instincts that something wasn't right here. But how much help did that actually provide? I think it was something that helped later on as far as getting justice and finding her soon. If she hadn't been checking in with that friend, it might have been a significant amount of time, days even, before she was found. Alarcon could have had time to do something to, further hide, the crime that he had committed. And again, obviously, these are allegations at this point, but you're 100% right. If he did this, he could have disposed of the body, or potentially. Talk to me about these kind of, I guess the best way to describe it, side hustles using apps like this. In your experience, is this becoming more and more common? And clearly this is not the first case that I've heard of people who meet online, they meet together, in person, and then violence ensues. That's what the allegation is here. But talk to me about what we're seeing. Sure, there's certainly a lot of platforms that are supporting these side hustles, if you will, engage with people online in various ways. But a lot of the safety comes in that it stays strictly cyber. It doesn't encounter this one-on-one direct human contact. And one of the concerns is that it appears that Annabelle is directly meeting somebody in person that she had met online. And she conducts that meeting one-on-one without someone else present, without being in a public environment. And those are certainly some concerns. When you're branching from that cyber platform where you can engage people in kind of an anonymous way, and then meeting them directly one-on-one in person, you're significantly increasing your safety risks there. The deputies who do the interview with Meza Alarcon reportedly say he has injuries to his face, and at first he tells the investigators, or allegedly tells the investigators, that he was going to get the money to pay Annabelle when she hit him with something and knocked him out. And then he allegedly claimed he woke up 3 miles away and called 911. What you got is a classic case of a suspect creating distance from a tragic incident. Something bad has happened, and the first story that's coming out is something that we know is not the truth, because Alarcon later changes it and provides different details. So his mindset at that point is he's distancing himself from this tragic event that's happened, and that's what he thinks is going to help keep him safe. And then later he's changing that and giving a different story, which just ruins his credibility for any of the versions of the story that he wants to tell. And later, he reportedly changed his story and said, okay. Annabelle had threatened him. He allegedly told deputies that after he and Annabelle had sex, she asked for money, and then she hit him. And he says that Annabelle had been texting with someone that she called her boyfriend, and he was afraid that someone was outside waiting to attack him. And I'm curious if Alarcon does that version of the story, if he's sticking with that one, is that better than the other version? Or do you still see holes in it? It's just ridiculous. You've got this story. You have an 18-year-old girl that you're reporting is inside your house. You don't have people banging on your door. You don't have people banging on your window. You're simply saying you hear a car idling outside, and maybe there's someone even out there. And then he's reporting that Annabelle hits him with her cell phone. I'm sorry, you've got a guy who's saying he's now using jujitsu moves on an 18-year-old girl armed with a cell phone. Don't buy it. Completely ridiculous. And let's talk about that deadly act, because according to the affidavit, Alarcon told deputies that he instantly went to a leg lock but transitioned to a Darce chokehold. She demonstrated on the floor of the interview room. And a Darce chokehold, my understanding, is often seen in mixed martial arts, and it's where all of a person's weight is on their opponent's neck and their head is being pulled. It's really a brutal move. And the affidavit reportedly said that Jorge was asked if he knew Annabelle was dead when he left the room. And he stated without checking her pulse. And he said he knows how to do locks because he likes to train, and he knows when the Darce. Reality is that he's in a room with an 18-year-old girl, armed with nothing but her cell phone and maybe an idling car outside. Alarcon had options. Had he been truly scared and fearful, he could have taken her phone and called 911. He could have used his own phone. He didn't have to use all these grandiose jujitsu moves to incapacitate an 18-year-old girl with no imminent threat outside. There's just no one banging on doors or windows. This is a grown man and an 18-year-old girl, and it's not okay. And he seemingly, if we take this as true, what he told law enforcement, knew the consequences of using a move like that. So there was one thing to say he had the ability to maybe incapacitate or knock her out, but he seemed to know that this could have led to killing, and that's what happened. Now deputies, they end up arresting him and they take him to the El Paso County Jail. He was handed down a $1 million bond, but based on our last review, he hasn't posted it yet, so he's still behind bars. He's expected back in court after Labor Day weekend.